Hi everybody. So today we'll be checking out how do you use Pig and how does Pig Latin look like. Alright, so let me fire up my virtual machine and let me go into the full screen mode. Okay, so yes, so this is my directory. This is how it looks like right now. I've got three directories: Anurag, Temp and War directory. So we're starting from fresh in the sense that we've just come fresh from MapReduce, and this is the first exercise after we've done the MapReduce example. All right. Okay. So I've got this sample data with me, which I'm going to show it to you in a while. I think it's in my /root directory. Okay. No, I think it's just in my / directory. Let me check. Yes. So as you can see in my / directory, that is the root directory, I've got my pigfile.txt. This is something that I got it from the internet. This is a comma separated file. As you can see, this is how the text looks like. So it's, I believe it's like one comma, that is a serial number, comma, the name of a book, comma, the year of release of the book, comma, the rating of the book, comma, some, what is this, probably some key of the, or probably some ID of the book. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 columns, and it goes on. It goes probably for a, it's a huge chunk of data, some 20,000 rows if I'm not wrong. Alright, if you don't find such a data available, you can please feel free to use your own data, say 5 or 6 rows of data, more than enough, just to test it how it works. Okay, so this is my data, and I have placed it in my / directory, that is the root directory. Let me show it to you. I'm the root user right now. Let me clear the screen. Okay, so I'm going to do a cd of / and now I'm going to do a ls grep pig. So as you can see, there's something called as pig_file.txt. If I have to do just 10 rows, so this is how the data looks like. Okay, if you want me to show you the last 10 rows, so I've got some 49,590 rows basically, because this is the serial number, right? And it goes on like line by line by line by line. So I've got these 49,590 rows, and let's see what I can do. Let me clear the screen. The first thing that you have to do is you have to install Pig, which I've already installed. Now if at all you want to install it again, this is the command: yum install pig. Yes, that's about it. So yum install pig and hit on enter. I've already installed it, so if at all I run this command, it should be saying nothing to do or something of that sort. But when you run this command, you should be downloading the entire pig package. It will ask for a prompt. You just have to press Y when it asks for a prompt. So in my version, it says nothing to do because the package of so and so has already been installed at my end. Okay. So this is the very first thing that you have to do: yum install pig. Oops. Yum install pig, and when prompted, you should press on Y. Alright, so now that you've installed pig, the next thing to do is to push the file from your local, that is the pig file txt, push it to Hadoop. So we now know how to push it. Let's create a folder in Hadoop called as pig, just for our reference. Sudo -u hdfs hadoop fs mkdir /pig. So from the root in hdfs, I'm going to create a directory called as pig. It says it's been created. Let me check. Not this. Yeah, here. So this is my root directory. Yes, I see a directory called as pig. Okay. Next, within pig, let me just, now as of now it's empty, so let me push that particular file. Sudo -u hdfs hadoop fs put what was the name of the file? Pig file.txt. Okay, to /pig/. So this is the destination directory in hdfs where I want to see that file. It's done as well. There you go. So if I click on this, you can hopefully see the data that I see. Okay. You can see that the replication is 1 and not 3 because, as you all know, it's a pseudo distributed cluster, and this is how it's going to be. Alright, so I've got my data that I want to run my pig commands on, pig Latin queries on. Let's jump into pig right now. To jump into pig, the only thing that you have to write is pig itself. Once you write pig, it will throw you the initialization output. So it is initializing. It will tell you any errors or any warnings that it has got for you. So here it says that boss, HBase isn't installed. It's fine. So HBase is a database which Hadoop provides. Even if I don't have it, pig is gonna run, but it's just gonna prompt me saying that HBase isn't there, which is very much fine. Grunt mode. So as you can see, once you are in pig, you should see the prompt called as grunt. So grunt is nothing but the sound made by pig, right? So in English. So in pig Latin, this is the shell where you have to write your commands. Even here, clear would work. So I've just cleared my screen. Let me show you. So let me quickly create variables like A, B, C, D, E, just for the sake of simplicity. So A equal to, what do I want to do in the very first step? I want to load that particular file from HDFS into pig memory. So load what is the name of the file? /pig underscore file.txt. Let me check. Not this. Yeah, so it's pig underscore file.txt. Just to make sure that the spellings are right. Using okay, so what basically I'm doing right now is A equal to, that is I'm declaring a variable called as A equal to load, which is a keyword, load this particular file from HDFS using pig storage. Now pig storage is a method that pig gives to you. How do you want to read that file as? It's a comma separated file, right? So within single quotes, give the delimiter that you're expecting. I'm expecting a comma separated file, so I'm defining a comma here. You can end the command with this by giving a semicolon. It will still take, but I want to define the schema as well. It's up to me, right? So I can even press enter. It shows me an error. Okay. Yep, now it works. So basically what I've done is I started off with giving double quotes to the name here, which is not what pig was expecting. It was expecting it in single quotes. All right. So what basically I've done here is I have loaded the file into pig memory without defining a schema. It will still take, as you can see, without any errors. Okay. So all these dumping thing that it does is pretty common. So don't be astonished when you see a lot of dump, unless and until it's an error. These are all just warnings. So unless and until it's an error, it's pretty much fine. Okay. Okay, but I want to go ahead and I want to give it a schema. So let me rewrite my, overwrite my variable. So A equal to load so-and-so file using pig storage as, I want to define a schema. How does my file look like? Okay, so it is basically serial number, name of the book, year, rating, and some ID. Okay. As serial number colon int comma, next is book comma char array, char array. What was the next one? I think it was year. Yes, year. Sorry, it's book colon char array. That's how the syntax is. Year colon int comma rating colon, rating is supposedly a float, right? You see points in the numbers as well. You see points in the numbers as well, so it's a float. The last one being some ID. ID is an integer. Alright, so this is the schema. It's all comma separated, and to define the data type you have to give a colon. So serial number is an integer, so it's serial number colon integer, and so on and so forth. At the end of the command, ensure that you have a semicolon and click on enter. So as soon as you see a prompt without any errors, it means that it has been accepted. Even if you see a prompt with some warnings, it still means the same. It has been accepted. Unless and until you see errors in the prompt, like, you know, I had this dump. So all these were warning dumps. So that's fine. Unless and until it's an error, it's absolutely fine. Fine. So basically I have loaded the entire file in the way I want. I can also check how the schema is, how Pig has taken my schema. Okay, so I can use a describe variable keyword. Sorry, so describe A, because A is the value in which I have loaded the entire thing, right? So describe A, semicolon, enter. So as you can see that A is nothing but serial number is int, book is char array, year is int, rating is a float, and ID is integer. Okay. Fine, so this is how it is taken. Now let me just check the data. I just want to see the data without doing anything. How do you do that? Dump. So dump of the variable name. But I don't want to do this. It will throw me all the 49,500 records. That's a waste for me. You can do this if you want to. Dump a semicolon, but I don't want to do it. You can try it if you want. So I'm going to limit my output. Okay. So I'm going to define a variable called as LMT or whatever. LMT equal to limit A 10 semicolon. Now I'm going to dump the variable called as LMT. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm defining a variable called as LMT which would basically limit A by only 10 characters. Now I'm dumping the variable called as LMT. Let's see what happens. All these info logs are being printed. Slowly a map reduce job would be kicked off. I'll show it to you when it comes. Yeah, as you can see here, pig.backend.hadoop.execution engine.mapreduce layer.mapreduce launcher, which is 0% complete. So basically what you were doing is a pig code, pig Latin code, but what it translates to at the backend is a MapReduce job. So it goes on 0%, 25%, 50, 75, and then you get the final result. So to see the result of what you've done here, you have to actually wait all this time. It would be a little slow here because it's just a pseudo distributed cluster. In real time it would be much faster. Did I encounter an error? Seems like, but let me check. Okay, so in real life it would be much faster. So it goes on, it still continues, 75% complete. It will also give you a tracking URL as you expected it to. So this is like the MapReduce tracking URL that we saw in the previous classes that we had. So every time you use a dump command, it will use a MapReduce layer. So it slows down. Okay, there you go. So you can see these statistics. When you do it, you can see that this is the final result, which is a success. This is the Hadoop version that you've been using, 2.0. This is the Pig version, and you started this job as a root user. I mean, you opened the grunt shell with a root user, started at, finished at. What are the keywords that you used? The keywords that I used was limit, right? So this is the feature. Okay, so it will also give you statistics like the average time, median time, MapReduce time, and so on. In terms of HDFS splits, counters and stuff. So this is the input file that you wanted it to read, and since you did not define it an output file where it has to store, it will store it in a temp file unless and until you explicitly say store this particular output in this particular file. It will just keep storing them in temporary, and it will keep flushing things off automatically. Alright, so it's a temp file where it stores. Okay, so this is the final result that I'm looking for, right? So I have limited it by 10. So these are the 10 columns, or rather 10 rows that I want to see. Cool. So what can I do next? I can, let's say you don't want the entire data, you just want a couple of columns. Okay, just hang on, I think I'm running on low battery. Oops, let me pause the video.